Hello, and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. I am Kevin Thomas, and it's Labor Day weekend, so we are going to take a look at movies that involve labor. I could have been sort of comedic about it and did giving birth movies, but no. I also could have been like this movie, Norma Rae, and focused more on work struggles and maybe unionization. But I just decided to narrow my search for 7 movies, one for each day of the week, to be movies that involve women in the workforce. So to qualify, it has to, of course, have lead characters of women, and work needs to be sort of a supporting role. Like it needs to be involved in the plot. What 7 movies do I have? One of them could have been porn. Let's take a look now and see what I'm talking about. Our first movie is the classic 9 to 5, which you could find on Max. This movie came out in 1980 and started a lifelong friendship between Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton. And it still seems relevant today because there's even a documentary out called Still Working 9 to 5, which shows after all these decades, women still are not equals in the workforce, which is really sad. This is a very funny comedic film. It's more of a satire as well because it shows all the stereotypical roles women play in the office, whether it's like here where Dolly plays this secretary that's only used for her talents, and women not getting the same pay as men. I love 9 to 5. If you throw in a few cell phones, it could have been made today. Check it out, Max. Working Girl on Prime is kind of our workforce movie with the romance in it, but it still takes place at work. So Melanie Griffith plays a secretary trying to get ahead of the world and trying not to be a secretary, but she's only used for her looks and handing toilet paper in the stall to the boss, not taken seriously. So when she ends up going to work for a woman, she thought things would turn around, but Sigourney Weaver, who should have won the Oscar, plays her boss who's just as bad as the men, stealing ideas and her own thunder. Something happened to Sigourney, so Melanie has to step in and pretend not to be her own secretary, enlisting her friend Joan Cusack to pretend to be her secretary. Did I make that confusing? Joan is also super funny. Melanie was up for an Oscar, was also up for Best Picture. It's from acclaimed director Mike Nichols. Harrison Ford has never looked sexier. Here we see Harrison Ford and Melanie Griffith crashing a wedding because they want to talk to this big boss, but they can't get through to him at work. In fact, this scene, oh, there's Ricky Lake, by the way. This scene is super cute to me, and I always remember there's a line in it, and we'll play the volume for it, where when you want to get away from somebody, you just look away and say, oh, I see Phyllis. I have used that line since 1988. Here, instead of me reenacting it, let's have Melanie do that great line. Here we go.
Tell me you don't remember.
Of course I do.
Excuse us.
Talk about a small world, huh? I mean, here we just met, and yet I feel as though I've spent so much time working with you in a way. I'm in mergers and acquisitions at Petty Notes.
Oh, well, I really wish we were having more luck with your team.
And so do I. So do I. I've been trying to set you up with a radio network, but my bosses, they think that you're just stuck on acquiring television and won't even listen.
Well, that's not true.
Well, that's what I said. I said that the man who in 1971 looked into the future and saw that it was named microwave technology, the man who applied Japanese management principles while the others were still kowtowing to the unions, the man who saw the Marbell breakup coming from miles away. I mean, this man did not get to be this man, you, I mean, by shutting himself off to new ideas. Am I right or am I right?
Well, I think you're right.
Damn straight I'm right.
If you've got the right property, I'd love to hear about it.
You would?
Absolutely.
She
You
got
know,
caught.
I just realized that I'm hogging the father of the bride, and I see Phyllis.
I see Phyllis.
Well,
Oh, you can't talk. I see Phyllis. Hey, boring person chatting with me. I see Phyllis. I use that all the time. Oh, I'd love to talk, but I see Phyllis. I did promise one movie might have been porn, and that's The Devil and Miss Jones, which you could find on Plex and the Roku channel. So this movie's very fun to me. Charles Coburn, in an Oscar-nominated role, plays the big boss owning everything in the world, and he's mistreating his employees, so they actually one day burn him in effigy right in front of his own house. So he goes undercover to see why do they hate him so much. So here he is working in the shoe department at one of his stores, and he doesn't realize that they're all going to try to gang up on him. But a plot got foiled. So anyway, Jean Arthur is left to try to take over. It's a very funny movie. It's got a cute romance on the side. It's classic. It does involve unions, but this is actually people in the workforce fighting back, led by here, Jean Arthur. Now, how does this look porn to you? I will tell you. When little Kevin was watching this on television, it said it's the uncut version. So I always remember the devil in Miss Jones. So I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be able to watch porno on television. Uncut. Wow, wow, wow. To my dismay and surprise, I watched The Devil and Miss Jones, a 1940s film that has no nudity, no swearing, no anything. I actually liked it, but I was expecting to watch porn at home. The Devil in Miss Jones. This is a totally different movie. Oh, little Kevin, you gotta learn. Sorry, these are the few scenes I can actually show on TV because The Devil in Miss Jones is porn. So swing shift with Goldie Hawn and Oscar nominee for this film, Christine Lahti. And if you pay attention, you're going to see Holly Hunter, is a really terrific movie where women go to become the workforce when their men go to war. It's a great film about female bonding, not bondage, bonding. I already made the mistake with The Devil and in Miss Jones. Female bonding. Oh, look, there she is. I love Christine Lahti in this. Anyway, I think this is a terrific film. Only costs a few dollars to rent. You should watch it. And I don't know, tell me in the comments after you watch it. See, there's a scene that kind of got cut out, but some people put it back. Ed Harris, when he was super hunky playing Goldie's husband in this movie, early in the movie, he's wearing a towel. Well, he plops down on a chair, and his penis plops too, and we see it. So I think that was a mistake because they kind of cut it out, but I read that TCM, when they screened this movie, it's penis intact, but it's a very fast shot. But why don't you watch this movie on Amazon and see if it's there, and let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much. If you've got Cinemax, you've got to watch Miss Sloane with Jessica Chastain and what should have been an Oscar-nominated performance. I think she's magnificent. She won some other awards and nominations, but not for this. She plays a lobbyist who's strong. She's dedicated to her work. In fact, she really doesn't have a social life. Even for sex, she just needs the release and the convenience, and she doesn't need the romantic tie. She is ruthless. This movie is really terrific, and I'm just getting anxious watching this preview. You got to check it out on Cinemax now. Baby Boom, which is available on Showtime, I think is the companion piece to 9 to 5, because here we have Diane Keaton as a ruthless, dedicated, hardworking female up for a promotion. Well, then she inherits a baby, and that makes her, in other people's eyes, more feminine, not maybe the right candidate for the job, which is a terrible thing to say. We still need to overcome these things because we're all equal. Men could stay home too. There's also daycare. So anyway, she has this high-powered job. It's not a spoiler alert because it's early in the film. She ends up, you know what? I would rather take care of the kid and still have a career of my own. So she moves to the country. She finds a man, but he doesn't define her. It's not like, oh, I finally found my hero. But she does come up with a new career that she's very happy with, and she returns to being successful in business, which I love. Nancy Meyers, the writer of this, always writes strong characters, so I'm so happy to have Nancy Meyers representing strong women in film. My last film, Picture Perfect, I almost didn't include this because I kind of forgot about it, and I really like this movie. It's very underrated. I had a different movie all picked, and then, oh my God, Picture Perfect came to my head, which you could watch for a few dollars. Yes, it does sort of involve some stereotypes, with Jennifer Aniston, who's often underrated as an actress, playing an advertising career woman. They don't take her as seriously because she's single. And she does like one guy, Kevin Bacon, but he doesn't like single women. So she invents a boyfriend, Jay Moore, there, and he helps her become more established with the company, which shouldn't be needed. But how does this tie into work? Well, in her advertising world, it plays a supporting role. Her agency, this is so terrific to me. They come up with an ad campaign for Gulden's, the mustard. I don't know if this is a real campaign, but it should be. Goldens, are you listening? Because they say they're, I don't know the exact slogan, but obviously they're never going to be the #1 mustard. Talk to Frenchies about that. So they say they're #2 and proud of it. Yes, sir. That's our show of the week. Hopefully you come back. We're going to leave with Hidden Figures. This is the first movie that popped in my head, but everyone knows about this movie, so I didn't need to showcase it, but do watch it. And I hope you share, which by the way, I always say that, and Cher also has a work-related film, Silkwood. Not a big fan of that movie. I love the performances, but no. Anyway, what movie involving women at the workplace did I miss that you wish I included? Let me know below. I hope to see you next week. I really look forward to it. In the meantime, let's watch some of those Hidden Figures and racism at the same time and strong, smart women. That really is a good movie. What a great cast. This reminds me, they really need the Oscar for Best Ensemble Cast. Don't you think so?